basics today. And back to basics to me means a lot of things. But what I really enjoy in the winter is going to sugar houses. And I have an expert here today. Her name is Jillian Miner, and she is with Grand Monadnock Maple Farm. And you guys are in Chesham, Harrisville?
Yes, exactly.
Right on the line, kind of there. Mm-hmm. And you guys have been sugaring for a while. I know that you put your sugar house up a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yep, we've got a new sugar house.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a shack, a sugar house.
That's right. It is a really nice sugar house, too. And state of the art. Mm-hmm. Seriously, at this point in our lives, this is just like the best. So what I did want to talk about a little bit first is all of the things that have led us up to where we are right now. And so we have to go back to the Indians.
Back to the basics.
That's right. That's right. So the Micmac and the Iroquois are the Indians that were are credited with starting with maple sap. And what they used to do is they used to just slit the trees and take the sap that was dripping out and boil it up with some rocks. And I mean, everybody's heard these stories. But it's just amazing to think that when you look at today's stuff and what you look at what they had back then, that there's any comparison at all, right? So I guess that's great if that's all you had. So,
and that's all they had.
That is. So some of the things that they used to make, they would have grain sugar, which was like a granulated form of sugar. They would also have cake sugar, which sounds more like what you would make the molds out of.
The
that
candy.
You guys do. Yeah,
maple
the candy.
Yep.
I think we've got some maple candy here, and so that's those. And then they had wax sugar. Do you know what wax sugar?
Wax sugar.
Yeah.
Like a syrup, like a wicked thick syrupy. That kind of sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Sugar on snow.
Sugar on snow.
Who doesn't love sugar on snow?
Exactly. And if you have not had a chance to try sugar on snow, you've got to, because there seriously is nothing like it. And it's like it's snow and syrup, and that's it. Yeah. But it's gooey and chewy, and it's delicious.
Sugary.
Yeah. So, and then apparently, from what I understand from talking to my elders, they used to eat pickles. Dill pickles with it. I don't
the
get
sweet and the sour does something or other. It's good. If you've ever tried it, it worked. They work together, but it's still weird. It sounds weird.
Yeah. But if you get a chance, try it. So let's get back to the trees. Let's see. They slashed the trees, and then they found that was killing the trees.
Right.
And so they decided to do something different. That's when I think they started tapping. And from tapping, they went to having metal buckets or fluff containers, as I hear some people started.
That's how my husband started, yeah.
Yes, we'll go into that a little bit later. And let's see. And then now we've got tubes, and we've got vacuum systems. I don't know if anybody realizes what those are. And then the reverse osmosis. I mean, I love these big words, but it's so cool to see the efficiency of the operation that you have. And so, Jillian, we were visiting your place a couple of days ago, actually. And so I'd really like to take a visit over to your place.
Oh, sure.
And let people know a little bit more about what you're all about and what your sugar house looks like. Okay, so if you guys could just sit back and enjoy this, and we'll take a visit to Harrisville, New Hampshire.
Hi.
What good timing, too.
The sun is out. It's really gorgeous today. We're not boiling. We don't have enough to boil quite yet, but this is our passion. We love the outdoors, and it's any excuse to be outside. Like literally, I can dress for the warmth, obviously, and it breaks up the winter. Like I was outside all winter, and it was awesome. Yeah. And now spring is coming. So do you hear the vacuum? We've got about 1,000 taps on this vacuum system. And we have to tap every tree with a new literal tap every year, but this stuff stays in the woods. We have to turn it on and off. This morning it was off because everything was frozen, but it's running right now. But so when I have a leak in the system, maybe it's just one of these drops popped off the line, I can hear it. I can hear the vacuum hissing, so I know where to fix it. But if I don't hear it, I have to find it. And that's what's so nice about our clear blue plastic, is that I can see the bubbles moving quickly. I have a really nice two-handed tool where it clamps down on the line. I cut where it breaks.
You splice it.
We have a pressure gauge on our vacuum.
You know you got a leak.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I have west woods and I have east woods, and I can turn one or the other off and determine which woods are broken. It's probably over 15 to 20 acres. We've got 8 miles of tubing. Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of work. This is my favorite part, is hiking in the woods and fixing lines. And John does the boiling.
Even when the snow is really, really deep?
I love snowshoes. We'll boil when we have about 600 gallons of sap. So on a day, this morning, there was all sorts of sap built up in the lines from yesterday's run. That wasn't connected, but because it was so cold, the guys who don't have vacuum wouldn't have gotten as much, or probably it's not running for them yet. So we are literally taking some out of the tree. It's cool. It's efficient. It's crazy. And it took us 4 months to get it all figured out. Cut the paths, neatened up the sugar bush, figured out where it was all going. It's cool. It's efficient for us, but it's not over the top pressure. We're not killing these trees with sucking the amount of sap that we do out of them. But on a good day, I'm sure they run about a gallon of sap. It's cool.
Typically, here's the end of March. It would be like ending now.
It would be ending. Last year we went to mid-April.
Really?
We
Last
did.
year?
It was able to stay cold in the evening, at night. So we were able to pull sap. It got a little bitter at the end, which is what happens. But
do you think it's going to be a longer season this year?
I
mean,
hope so.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's hoping for.
Yeah. How are you comparing this year to last year so far?
We're behind.
Yeah.
We're behind in quantity.
Yeah.
Quality is great.
Right. But it started so late. I mean,
It started so late.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember last year, we tapped mid-February last year, and we started running the 1st of March. So there was that whole period where we didn't do anything. So it kind of feels similar.
and when you said quality, are you getting a lot of light syrup?
It's amber. It's medium.
Yeah.
But it's so delicious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Can we go inside and check out your arch? Yeah,
Okay.
great.
This is the vacuum, which is what's so loud, and this is the releaser, which keeps pressure on the line. So it's collecting sap in one of the canisters and keeping pressure on it, and then I'll switch over, and I'll switch it over for you because I don't know how close it is. But there's a gauge on top of it that's reading around 25 inches of mercury, which is good. That means I don't have any breaks right now. But there still could be some ice built up, so we'll see if we'll see how it goes. But this is what happens. And I think it smells like the trees. It doesn't smell too sweet. Yeah. It smells good.
Yeah.
The sap comes in to the building right here. All of our trees are hooked up on this tubing, which is the best part. We don't have to lug any tanks around. And it was we took 4 months.
Well, you know what?
to plan
When
that
you
out.
when you plan something out, it makes a huge difference.
He did it the right way.
Yeah.
We sold sap the first couple of years, and then we built because we could afford it. And so the sap coming out of the trees is at about 2% sugar, and we have a reverse osmosis machine. And the reverse osmosis separates out some of the water from the
That
syrup.
speeds the process up.
So it brings it from 2% sugar to 11% sugar. So we have to use less fuel. We're boiling for a shorter amount of time. It's awesome. So we had about 900. We brought it down to over 80 gallons of concentrated syrup. We only boiled for 2.5 hours. It was we were done. There were people in here. It was quick yesterday, and we've got some amazing, delicious product, which you'll have a sample of, obviously. This is the reverse osmosis machine, yeah. And it has the membrane in it. It's just like pretty much a filter. It pushes out the water from the sap. And it can't freeze, so this room is heated to about 50 degrees. So this is where I hang out when it's really cold, because it's nice and warm. But the sap comes into the machine, and it's electric when it's on. It's pretty loud as well. And it cycles through, and we cycle it back to the sap tank to concentrate it all. So it's just doing a loop until it gets to the percentage that we want. And then we send it upstairs to a head tank. It's a 150-gallon head tank, and we gravity feed the arch, the evaporator. This is how we grade. So this is like,
The new grading system.
a new grading system. So this was actually a boil from the other day, but this is our first boil. But that's it. That's how you grade it. So it's darker than it doesn't really look much darker actually. It looks pretty light. So we've got it looks like a fancy.
Darn, I hate it when that happens.
Fancies are good. But this is the highly scientific way of grading. Isn't that funny? That's
Well, they do the same thing with honey as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Wow.
So towards the end of the season, we'll get the darker stuff. We can go around this side. The head tank feeds from this line right here.
From the ones with the, you throw in slabs of wood.
I know.
Oh, that is so much work.
It's so much work, and it gets dirty. The syrup gets dirty,
Yeah.
and it has a different flavor. But
Yeah.
this is from the head tank. It feeds into the back sap pan right here, and it comes in. And John moderates how much is coming in versus how much he's drawing off. So he's when the evaporator's on, he's back here working pretty hard, controlling everything. The arch, yeah, this is the hot box right here, and so this is the front syrup pan. I know these hoods are really nice. They help take the steam away.
How do you keep everything so clean?
We clean it all at the end of the season.
Unbelievable.
So this is the
This is
second
beautiful.
year. This is the there's 2-year-old. This stainless is, but I mean he's OCD, which is really good being clean in the sugar shop.
Especially again in the food.
You know, this in the one tank in there is the only galvanized we have. Everything else is stainless. It's food grade. It's safe and delicious. And we do leave syrup in the pan, and that's called sweetening the pan at the beginning of the season. So we don't have to keep sweetening it every time. We just leave it in there. The next time we're ready to boil up, we just boil up and we can draw off pretty quick.
Nice.
It's fun. But those are our boils from last year.
Yep. Beautiful. A lot of light ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're lucky because some years it seems like that's all you get is grade B.
Those are new pans. I think that really helped.
Yep.
And it hasn't been too dark really, but it depends on the pans. It depends on the age of your lines in the wood. It has all sorts of stuff. Every year, every boil is different. The West woods have more evergreen, so they run different even than the center and the East woods.
Yep.
It's so crazy
Yeah.
that even the little microclimates around
Right.
here and the trees definitely produce different sap.
Yeah.
than the tree does.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's fun. And I've learned a lot throughout this process, and I studied a lot of science in school, and it's a lot of chemistry, which I can apply, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I love the trees. I hug every tree. I love the maples. We're on family land. Our sugar bush is probably around 20 acres, and we own the 90 acres surrounding it, and we're gonna be here forever on our little homestead.
Oh, that was wonderful.
That
I
was
had such a
awesome.
great day that day.
That was the first time I saw that. That was great.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
a great job.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it was a beautiful day. And so you were the only one there? No.
No.
So who is the person that inspired this, the sugar house?
Well, it's my husband, John.
Your husband, John. Yep.
He is my life partner, obviously, and my business partner, I
Yeah.
guess. Well, I would say he's the boss, but he would say I'm the boss, and I just work there. So.
That's okay.
But he's been sugaring since he was 5. And he started in the backyard with some buckets. He'll tell you it was a fluff container,
Yeah.
something a little 5-year-old could manage.
Right.
And I had no idea. I had no idea about maple syrup, really.
So before you got married, did you know that this was going to happen? Did
No.
you know that he really wanted to have a sugar house?
We had talked about sugaring, and our land actually was tapped. We leased it to a different sugar, so they were already tapping our trees, and so they were already using the resource we have here. But we hadn't really dreamt about this like we have now.
Yeah, I mean it is great, and the thing is with maple sugaring, you don't just plant a couple of trees and start getting sap the next year. Like somebody either had to have a plan when they did the cutting, or had to have an idea, because how many years does it take before a tree can be tapped?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's like 15 to 20
Yeah.
years, but it could be more than
Right,
that. We
right.
do 10 inches, so I can go by
Right.
so the inches of the tree trunk. That's how we know when it's ready to be tapped.
And can you tap the same trees every year?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. That's why our tubing system, is able to stay up in the woods all year round. And you have to tap a tree. You have to think of a tree when you're tapping it that you're cutting into it. You're wounding it.
Right.
And when you do drill that hole, you think of a scar that's going to form that's about this big. So you can't tap directly next to it every year round, or else you'll scar the tree and you'll
Right,
kill
and it'll
it.
kill it, yeah.
I think that's why the natives found out that slashing it was killing too much of the bark.
Right. Well, they didn't have a lot of, great tools either.
Right,
so,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Trial and error. I
Right.
think that's how a lot of it.
Yeah.
They figured out a lot of it.
So you have tubing now,
We have tubing.
and you have 8 miles of tubing?
We have 8 miles.
Which is a lot of tubing.
in
You
the
know, like
woods.
if you think about how long, I was thinking about this morning, how long does it take me to walk a mile?
Yeah.
1 mile, and you're putting up tubing for 8 miles.
We only have to do that once, and we'll have to refresh some of the tubing as it deteriorates. But the lifespan on it's like 7 years
Oh, that's
or
great.
something like that. It depends on the tubing, the quality of the tubes.
Yeah.
And we don't have to walk every single mile every day. Some of the tubing is main line, the bigger stuff, and the important stuff that breaks more easily is the lateral line, or the 5/16 inch
So
line.
we mentioned it a little bit in the video, but how do you fix those lines?
Well, I brought
My tool.
I show and tell. This
Yay.
is one of my favorite tools out in the woods, and it's called a two-handed tubing tool. And what I do, this is the size of the line that's out in the woods, and actually this line right here has some critter breaks in it.
Oh, what kind of critters?
Oh, chipmunks and squirrels.
Aren't they so cute?
Anything that thinks it's tasty, tasty sugar water.
Yeah.
So you clip it onto your lateral line. Should I do this
Yeah, go
little
right
demo?
ahead. Yep.
And you take this awesome razor blade, and you cut out
Wow.
the piece that has the gap in it.
Yeah.
I hope
Wow.
you can see this. And you take
Yeah,
this nifty little connector and you fit it right in,
Wow.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And you
Put
repair
it
the
together
line.
and boom, you're done.
And I can only imagine the guys without those tools. When I'm in the woods by myself, I'm like holding it with my teeth and using my hip, and
Right.
any way I can get those
Yeah, well,
lines together, because
right.
it keeps tension on the line while I'm working, which is good.
Yeah. So, what I first would think about is you are on a hill, so you have the centrifugal force bringing the syrup down. But besides that, you also have your vacuum. And it's not the one that you use in your house, but this
quite.
vacuum is sucking the sap down the hill, and it's so much faster. Can you tell me a little bit about the vacuum?
Sure. So the tubing is all hooked up to the vacuum, and everything comes directly into the sugar house, which is really nice. We don't have to drive around and collect sap from the buckets like so many do. And the vacuum provides a closed system, so it's healthier for the trees. So not much. There's some bacteria, there's some breaks where air and gunk gets in it, but it's closed. The tree, it's healthier for the trees. And on a cold day, when a sugar who doesn't have vacuum, when it's too cold and it hasn't started yet, because we have the vacuum system, are more likely to get sap than the guy who doesn't.
Right.
So it's really good for us. It's harder for them, but I'm not hating it. It's wicked convenient.
Right. Well, everybody started at different times, so you can see, like when people started back in the 40s or 50s or even the 70s and 80s, they didn't have these things.
Right.
And so now, if you're just starting out, which I don't see a lot of people just starting out because it's not a cheap hobby.
It's not.
No. But these are great things, and if you're going to be doing it for years and years, why not plan ahead and go with it? So the other thing, which I love, is the reverse osmosis system. And that saves you a lot of time as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure.
Yes.
And we're not even to my favorite
I know,
piece of
there's
equipment
no
in
way
the
that we
sugar
can
house yet.
Yeah. So keep going, because we got to hurry up
Okay,
here.
sorry.
Yeah.
The reverse osmosis
Yeah.
is just a big filter,
Yeah.
in essence. And we run the sap coming out of the tree is at 2% sugar. And we run the sap through this machine, and it separates out some of the water. And we run it through, we keep cycling it through until it's at the percent that we want it. And the other day, I think we brought it up to like 14% sugar. So if sap coming out of the tree takes 43 gallons to make 1 gallon of syrup at 2% sugar.
Right.
So we're upping that sugar content, so we're cutting down on time that we need to boil because we've taken out that water already.
Well, when I was watching it, it was incredible. It was like you hadn't even started and you were finished. You know, it was, wow, it was just great. Yeah.
It saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
It saves a lot of energy, less fuel. It's efficient.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
So tell me, what is your favorite part?
The filter press.
Oh, yes. Yes. All that gunk in the diatomaceous earth that
Yes,
you use.
yes.
And I don't know if anybody has seen those in a sugar house, because you don't often see it, because mostly
It's on
what
the
you see is
finishing end,
right,
yeah.
right. So you see the arch and things like that. But when they're finishing it, what they do is, well, I should let you tell.
No,
but,
go ahead.
But anyway, they have this huge, humongous, heavy thing, and it's a filter, and the diatomaceous earth gets mixed in with the syrup, goes to the filter, and it comes out like crystal clear. It's
Crystal.
beautiful. And so what it's doing is the diatomaceous earth is collecting all of the little particles, and it's keeping them together, and then that's what makes it clean. But what I was amazed at is when I watched you clean it.
Clean out the plates.
Right, because
yeah.
the diatomaceous earth almost looks like clay, because it's kind of that form, and it really, you can see how
It's
much it's cleaned
gross.
up everything. It starts out white, and it's like a not an ugly brown, but it's
like a gray. Heavy.
it's like
it's
earth.
loaded with with stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool. Is there anything you wanted to say about that as well?
Well, just that when the syrup comes off the evaporator, it's hot enough that guys often put it in their canner unit to bottle it, and they just put it with a filter paper, a piece of felted
Right.
material, and that's how they filter
Right.
it.
So your way is not the only way.
No,
but
you can do it
It's a very efficient and
Right. It takes 5
very
minutes.
clean.
How long did
Yeah.
it take me to do 4
Right.
gallons?
Yeah, exactly.
5 minutes.
Right. Because what you do is you take the syrup and run it through, and then run it back through again just to clean it out a little bit more. I just think that it's such a nice process, and I've seen it used in other sugar houses before, but never the whole series of how it goes. So yeah. So now, besides the quality of the syrup, you have new names for
the
for
grading.
the syrup. The syrup hasn't
this is coming.
changed,
Right.
but the names have. So
Right.
is this like a marketing thing?
I'm not sure. It's the national standard.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, Vermont picked it out or
Right.
New Hampshire. No, everyone has to do it because they were grading it with A and B, and I
Right.
think people were feeling that B was inferior, and
Right.
it's not.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
No.
A lot
It's
of people
whatever you're looking
prefer-
for.
Right, and there are
Exactly.
different flavors. So we've got this new grading system, and I don't even know what it is yet. So I'm glad you gave me some
Well,
notes.
from what I have a few little notes here. So the grade A light amber, which is like the fancy that we're all
Right.
excited about, that one is now called golden with a delicate taste.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what I actually use to make the candy and
Right.
the cream, the
Yes,
confections, because it holds the color. It's
Right.
the lightest color, so
Yeah.
that's why I use it to make those
And
goodies.
you don't like making candy, do you?
It's good. I just get a sugar high every time I
Right.
do it because you have to sample.
I know,
and-
darn. Jeez. So then we have grade A medium amber, which is amber with a rich taste
Which is the medium amber. Yeah.
that most people usually would end up getting probably. And then you have grade A dark amber, which is dark with a robust taste.
Yes.
And then grade B, which is very dark with a strong taste. Now, none of these are bad.
No, they're all so
no,
good.
it all depends on what you're going to use it for, and so.
I think the best syrup is the stuff that's hot off of the evaporator.
Oh, totally.
Like right out of the canner.
Oh my gosh! When you gave us little shots, and we'll take a little shot before the show is
Okay.
over, but. I could not believe how good it tasted. Like, yes, I bring my syrup home, and it's in my refrigerator, and I
Yeah.
take care of it and everything. And I even warm it up when I put it on my pancakes or my French toast.
Yeah.
But there's no way that it's probably ever going to taste as good as it does when you take it right off the arch, and it's still warm and
It's fresh,
delicious.
like
Yeah.
2 days ago. Fresh.
Yeah.
It is so. It's the coolest thing.
Right. So let's see. Your husband, this is his full-time job, right? No, I can't. That's one of the things that people don't think about either. There is a lot of time involved, besides the fact that it costs money, but there's a lot of time involved. So most of the people that are sugarers have a regular job.
Right.
And in sugar season, they have to go out and collect the sap. And if they don't have to collect the sap, they still have to boil it. And I think you said that you were in the sugar house last night until 1 or 1:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought you were pretty much done when I left, and I left at like 8:30 or so,
Yeah.
and still you guys were going along. So yeah, it's just incredible. And the thing that's also nice about the sugar houses is it brings friends together. And you know, it's really nice to see people like smiling and sharing stories. I mean, like, look at all the people that we were chatting, you know, about. Like, oh, did you know this person? And did you know that person? And oh, this is the way that we've seen this happen. And you know, just the stories just get going. Yeah, it's really.
And that's, I think,
cool.
how sugaring has started or has been so successful is that people share.
Right.
Every sugar house is different.
Yeah.
Every way to boil the sugar is different.
Exactly.
And it's fun. You can't help but smile there. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, you're high off of the sugar, but it's too much fun not to.
Exactly, exactly. So you guys sell different products. You sell different sizes of syrups. You also sell candy.
And cream.
And oh my gosh, and the cream. You got to put this on like toast. What do you? Put
I eat it
on?
with a spoon, you
Oh
know.
yeah, it's like sort of like eating peanut butter, but it's sweet and
Maple, yeah.
delicious and
Maple spread.
yeah, like it kind of like fudge, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a soft fudge. So yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that you guys have to offer. Now, you think this will be in your family for a while?
That's our plan.
Yeah.
Like I said, John's been doing it since he was a little guy, and we don't have any little guys of our own, but
Yeah.
that's why we want to start our own.
Yeah.
So we can pass it to them.
Yeah, so that's
Keep
going
it
to be
in the
great.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys, and
Thanks.
you know, I enjoyed going to your facility, and you know, I'm looking forward to going to other ones. So today we've been back to basics, and it's been fun. Thank you very
Jody.
much.
Thank
Yes.
you.